Namaskar to one and all gathered with us. Welcome to the another episode of Good Morning Bharat. Today we do have one other personality, Mr. Jagdish Acharya, CEO of Paint and Coating Sector Skill Council. As we all know, skill development mission is one of the most important agenda of our country. So today we would be having some interesting views and information about skill ecosystem in general and for the specific sector. So, Mr. Acharya, kindly tell the viewers about your SSC and the skill ecosystem, followed by some set of questions.
Sure. Thank you very much, Vaishali. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for organizing this. And I also like to pray for the safety and good health of everyone who is listening. We are going through unprecedented times, and I hope we come out of it unscathed.
Yes, sir.
As far as the skill Paint and Coating Skill Council is concerned, I'll give you a background as to why this came about and why it is a part of the NSDC. When you look at coatings, the performance of any coatings depends not only on the choice of the coating for that particular surface, but also it depends a lot on how well it is applied on that surface. So application of paints and coatings is as important as the product itself. You know, it's like if you are driving a car and the car may be made of best quality parts, but if the driver is not able to drive it well, then it all comes to no good experience at all. Similarly, for paints, it's very important to understand the value of skilled painting.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for sharing some important information with us. So we would like to start with some set of questions as I told earlier. So the first question is like, what is the main objective to form an SSC in the paint and coating sector, and how this sector has created the impact in skill industry?
So, Vaishali, as I mentioned earlier, there is a need. You know, in the paint industry, almost 70% goes to the 77, almost 75 to 77% is used in the decorative segment, and which is your architectural coatings, building coatings, etc. And out of that, almost 85% is used for repainting old structures. Okay, so that's one fact. The other fact is almost 23 to 25% goes for industrial coatings, and in industrial coatings there is a lot of good specific requirement of performance on the surfaces. Now this means there is considering that we sell almost 4 million upward tons of paints, this means there is a lot of requirement for applicators or people who apply paints. It is also true that in India, I think about, this is a rough estimate, about 3 to 3.5 million people are involved in this industry. And so it becomes very important to understand the role of skilling in the industry. Yes. Now, we also have to ensure that there is a standard prepared for every job role. We identified, the industry identified almost 20 job roles which required proper standardization and proper management of the skill, the training. And so the sector skill was formed with the objective of mapping the skill requirements, preparing the curriculum for the job roles which are identified as priority job roles, and ensuring that we prepare a full management of assessment and certification program for these job roles. That is the reason why the sector skill was formed, and that is the sole objective. The objective is to ensure that we provide training to people who standardized training as per job roles which have the approval of NSQF, and through the NSDC system. We follow the process and we ensure that the people who have gone through this are also certified properly, assessed properly and certified properly so that they can be placed in jobs in the industry which are actually needing such skilled people. So that is the objective of the Skill Council. And we have made a lot of impact in this. One of the biggest impacts we have made, Vaishali, is in the area of recognizing prior learning. There are a lot of people with in the informal sector who are skilled, but nobody recognizes their skills because formally, because they don't have a certificate. Their skills are recognized because people do give them jobs or assignments, but it is always good to recognize them formally and ensure that if there are any skill gaps in the way they do, train them, reskill them, upskill them, and ensure that they get better livelihoods by doing better work and more productive work. So that is another role the SSC plays, and we are very pleased to inform you that paint and coating skill sector has done a lot of work in recognizing prior learning initiatives, in the short-term training initiatives, and we do it under the umbrella of NSDC and under the guidelines specified by NSDC, which is National Skill Development Corporation.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful answer. And it was really useful for us, and we come to know many new things about your sector as well. So our next question would be, sir, it's like, what is your thought about training of migrant laborers? As in COVID-19, in the skill ecosystem, many of the sectors are talking about the same. So what is your thought basically on the same subject?
I will limit my observations to the paint and construction industry. It is well known that in the construction industry, which includes painting, a lot of people come from places in north like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and from specific areas in some of these states. And they come and do the jobs in as remote an area as South India, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. And now what has happened is, due to the COVID situation, many of them have returned to their homes.
Yes, sir.
Now this creates two kinds of problems. One is the place now, as we unlock, as the unlock 1, unlock 2 goes on, and as the job starts sort of getting revived, you'll suddenly find there's a shortage of skilled people in cities, or especially areas where a lot of construction is taking place. And on the other hand, you have the reverse migration situation where people of similar skills have gone into a same area, and there's a lot of people who have assembled there who may not actually come back to the cities for quite some time. So this is a very unique situation COVID-19 has created. Now, what we should do is try and see if we can train people who are remaining at the old places, to see if they can be retrained or trained or reskilled to take up higher level jobs. For example, in the cities, on the construction site, if there are people who are not exactly painters, or who are assistant painters or assistant or helpers, we would like to train them to see if they can take a higher order job. So that is one area we are looking into. We are ready with our program. If any of the construction sites need some of these interventions, we are ready to help. On the other hand, as far as the reverse migration has taken place, there is a system being followed by the government where skill mapping is taking place, and the district collectors are gathering the data, and they will let the sector skill councils or the state skill missions let them know what are the training requirements, or what are the reskilling, upskilling requirements that is there, and then we will be involved in that. We are completely on standby for this, ready with our inputs, ready with our training programs. So we would like to do it as soon as we are asked to do it. Today in the, we are all in the mode of nation building, and I think we should each one of us see how we can help in making our economy come back to its original, strength.
Yes, sir. Nice to know about your thoughts in the sector, the future plans which you are already having. Uh, so the next question our viewers wants to know, it's like SSCs are generally industry-led organizations. So as per the demand of the industry, skilling has to happen in skill ecosystem. So how the industries are getting connected to your SSC?
Okay. First of all, it starts with the birth of our SSC. Let me take the example of paints and coating skill industry, the council. The Paint and Coating Skill Council is actually a subsidiary of Indian Paint Association, and so the Indian Paint Association is made up of industry members. Also, on our governing council, we have industry representatives. We have representatives. We have the presidents of Indian Paint Association, Indian Small Scale Paint Association, Indian Paints and Coating Association as our governing council members. We have industry stakeholders. We have domain experts on the governing council. So the governing council is made up of people who belong to the industry. We also have people from the NSDC and some people who are, as I said, who attend the meeting on a consultative capacity. So there is this industry involvement from that side. The second is whenever we are developing curriculum. For example, recently we reviewed and rationalized our QPs. Whenever we do this, we take industry experts on board, and we develop the curriculum through their inputs. So the entire process of understanding what are the skill needs, what are the skill gaps, what are the needs of the skilling areas, or what is the kind of content required to make a job role, how we can take the help of industry experts to ensure that the job roles that the curriculum that we prepare for the job roles are industry relevant. All this is a very, it's connected in a very intimate way with the industry. We are also working very closely with the industry to make the National Apprentice Promotion Scheme successful. In fact, the National Apprentice Promotion Scheme is a very good way of ensuring that we get the right kind of people for the industry. We have a pool of talent which is available. On the demand side, we require good, talented, skilled people. I think it's very important for us to ensure that we work with the industry to get the right kind of people, right kind of skilled people for the industry. So that is the level of connect we have. In fact, I myself am an industry, been in the paint industry for over 37 years or almost 40 years. And so are my colleagues who are in the Paint and Coating Skill Council. They are all actually industry people themselves. So our linkages with the industry is very strong.
So that's good to know, sir. Basically, if you are just preparing the curriculum as well as per the demand of the industry, that's really a very nice idea to form an SSC and get the trainees placed at the right place.
Yes.
So the other question is how the assessments process would be carried further, whether it would be the completely online or it would happen with the presence of assessor and proctor at the training center.
The paint and coating, some of the job roles in the paint and coating sector, which we have prepared, some of them can be done completely online, and even assessment can be done online. But there are many job roles which require some amount of practical, demonstration of practical knowledge to assess, to certify. So what has happened during this period is, as a skill council, we are trying to understand the various modules that are available in by various service providers, to see how we can make the best use of maximum online assessment and proctoring which is possible. Incidentally, most of our assessments, even earlier, were done through online platforms. Only thing, there was certainly a physical examination that was being done, or a physical for physical knowledge assessment was done, but the platform itself was on online
Yeah.
or on a IT based platforms. Now we want to modify it such that we can extend that further to ensure more online content within the assessment part, as well as getting proctoring done through, even through AI, and that was demonstrated to us by many of the service providers. So we are actively thinking of modifying our assessment and certification process to ensure that we take advantage of the digital mediums to conduct it as well as possible. But Vaishali, there will still be some amount of um, physical engagement which will be required, which we will do by strictly following the safety guidelines or workplace safety guidelines.
Okay, sir. So that's good to know about the process of the assessments which would be carried further. So the next thing we want to ask is like, what are the future plans of Paint and Coating Sector Skill Council post current pandemic situation?
See, one is we want to develop our content, the curriculum and the content. We want to ensure that most of it is available through an online medium, because as we go forward, we know, we are conscious of the fact that it will take some time before we can have group trainings physically available in a classroom. So we are developing content, digital content of some of our curriculum, which is popular curriculum or popular job roles. The second one is, similarly, we will attend to the assessment and proctoring part also, to ensure that there is a complete system of digital online training and assessment and certification that is available. And wherever there is some amount of physical involvement, we will ensure that it is done by following proper guidelines. As far as the future programs are concerned for PCSC, we are very keen that some of the job roles which have not got much visibility so far, like the industrial application, protective coating, marine application, we want to put more emphasis on all this, because there is a very good demand for skilled people even outside India in these areas. So the Paint and Coating Sector Skill Council will devote its time primarily for developing online content to existing job roles, but also ensuring that those job roles for which there is a demand, global demand, we ensure that we conduct more aggressive training and preparing people to take up some of these good jobs abroad. So that is the whole idea for the next 2-3 years, to relook at delivery in a better way, and to ensure that we skill more people in hitherto not focused areas, so that we can meet the global demand for such these skilled areas. We are also looking at preparing some candidates, some participants for the World Skill Challenge, and ensuring that we come out uh, at least with a medallion, if not more, in these World Skill contests. So these are some of our projects forward. We are also in the process of working closely with the industry associations to create a center of excellence. And there's a lot of work involved here, but we are trying our best to see that in the next 2 or 3 years we at least have uh, one, if not two, centers of excellence.
That's great. So it's really a wonderful idea post-pandemic how the PCSC is going to, take place in the market.
In fact, one small piece of information I'd like to give, we have prepared COVID-19 posters in almost 9 languages, which are being widely circulated to all the paint stakeholders. We are also doing a video on work, on safety guideline or best practices, during the COVID period for painters, which along with other companies, major companies, we are also circulating it widely for our painters. We are equipping our painters to get ready to serve the customers in the post-COVID-19 situation by taking care of basic safety guidelines.
So we have just gone through your website as well, sir. There is a very important information regarding the same is already mentioned over there.
Yes.
That's really
yes.
nice to see that. Yeah. So, sir, you are already having a great experience in the skill ecosystem and in the same industry. So what is the message you want to give to the skill industry?
See, for the skill industry, we cannot compromise on the entire exercise of skilling. Skilling is a very serious engagement because you cannot acquire skills just like that. You've got to spend time, you've got to be committed, dedicated to acquiring skills. But once you acquire these skills with good softer skills, because softer skills are also important, you can be a winner and the king in your profession. There is no doubt about that.
Correct.
There are lots of very interesting slogans given in this area by the government, and I think every one of them is true, is that if you have skill, you have respect.
Correct.
And
yes,
if you have respect, you can get livelihood. So I think that the message is, let us be serious about what we are doing here, whether it is development of curriculum, whether it is imparting training, whether it is assessing cleverly, properly. All this is, makes the whole system very robust. And what we need in India is a robust system, because we have very good young pool of people who can be trained very well and who can become very good skilled people. Yes. Another message I have is that we should promote the apprentice scheme very aggressively, and I think the industry support is required here, especially now. If you are able to recruit people, why not recruit them through the apprentice program? One of the best programs the government has put in place, NSDC has put in place. I think we should take advantage of this National Apprentice Promotion Scheme and make it a success.
Yes, sir. That's good to know. What are your future plans and about the message you want to give to the skill industry? So it was really a wonderful session we had with you today, sir. And I think so it's very useful for the viewers as well. And they come to know about many other information as well, like about skill industry and paint and coatings sector specifically. So it was really our privilege to have you on the board, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaishali. I was very happy to be involved with this too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.